My topic is communal waste because I don't like communal waste, but I like taxes on communal waste. I will show you some pictures, hopefully, in a second. So the issue is we should sort the waste, and how can municipality or state force us to sort the waste using economic tools? What are the charges on communal waste? Here is some background for my research, because until the end of 2021, we had three possibilities how to collect charges on communal waste, or better payments, because one possibility was the contract system. The other two systems were based, one on the residency of the taxpayer, so it was something like tax on head or poll tax, while the second one was based on the permanent or on the actual residency of the person producing the communal waste. It was used in Prague because Prague has a lot of people living actually in Prague but not having the residency in Prague, so it was very nice tool for Prague. In Brno we were pretty lazy. Still we have a lot of people who are living there without permanent residency. But it was much easier to identify the taxpayers because they had residency in a city. So we were able to identify 100% of taxpayers. The new regulation was prepared and it was adopted at the very end of 2020, effective from the 2021. But of course it occurred that every municipality needs local bylaw to be able to collect these charges. So there was a transitional provision that municipalities can still use the cancelled regulation. And they in fact started with the new regulation in practice in this year, in 2022. Here is in very short paragraphs the description of these charges. So this is Brno system. Brno has chosen this charge for the municipal waste management system, and you are very welcomed in Brno, and you can see all the beauties of the city. So this is paid by people who are really living, who are formally living in a city, so they have a permanent residency in a city. Plus it is paid by the people who are owning immovable property, but there is nobody who is paying the communal waste living in this property. So if I have a free flat, for example, I have to pay for this flat also. There are certain exemptions. The most important exemption is that people who are paying the second charge in any other city are exempted from this local charge. Plus municipality can add much more exemptions. They are fully free to set additional exemptions. There is a maximum charge rate, what is approximately 45 euros per year. The second system was chosen by Prague, for example, and again, this is paid by the waste producer. So we can see certain similarities compared to the previous system. So not only people who are having real or factual residency in a city, but all people who are producing waste at the territory of Prague are paying this charge. What might be difficult, but the legislator said, okay, we will create a new person for the tax administration, and this person is called payer or paying agent. And this person has responsibility to collect money from all the taxpayers. So you can imagine the situation if you have a block of flats with many flats. So the payer is the community. It's a specific type of company, cooperative, where all people who are having flats in this block of flats are members. So this cooperative is responsible for the payment. And of course we know our neighbors. It's very difficult to collect money from everybody, but still they are responsible for the payment to the municipality. So this is pretty tricky situation. Well, a municipality has to specify the tax base in the ordinance, and there are three possibilities. What might be the tax base? It might be the weight of the waste in kilos, or the volume of waste in liters or the capacity of the waste bin. Usually the waste bin capacity is chosen because this is the easiest possibility for municipalities. Also, there is a possibility for municipality to set a minimum monthly tax base of 10 kilos or 60 liters, so that people are not throwing waste everywhere to neighbors' dustbin, for example, but they definitely pay something because it is, well, expected that people are producing communal waste. And you can see the tax rates. Maximum tax rates from the Act are 6 crowns, what is approximately 25 euro cents per kilo, or 1 Czech crown. It's almost nothing if something else is chosen as a tax base. And the whole system for both charges is based on self-application principles, so that people must be registered at the municipality. They must pay without any noticing from the tax office. But of course, if the tax base is based on liters or kilos, not the waste bin, then they have to wait for the decision of the tax administrator of the municipality what is the amount they should pay. Main aim of my contribution was to summarize pros and cons of these systems, and to be honest, I don't know what is the best. It's up to municipality to choose the best system. Definitely, it wasn't a contract system because it was, well, it's a contract, so you cannot force the other party to sign the contract. So if municipality has chosen the contract system, always they had 10%, 20% of people who were not ready to sign the contract, and they were not paying anything. So it was strange. Waste tax charge, or nowadays the charge for the disposal of municipal waste from immovable property, are based on the system that who is producing communal waste, he is paying. What is perfect, but from the administrative point of view, there are many negative consequences. And the most negative consequence is that situation of payer, of this cooperative of flat owners, for example, because they have no direct power to these taxpayers, but still they are responsible and they have to pay. If taxpayers are not paying, the only possibility for them is civil court. And we know how long it takes, how expensive it is, and if you have a lot of taxpayers who are not paying and you have them every year, it means that you are spending your time at court. So from this point of view, from the administrative point of view, the charge for the waste management system or previous one, a local charge on communal waste, are much better because you have all taxpayers at one registry and you know exactly who it is. On the other hand, it's not very ecological tool because everybody is paying no matter whether they are sorting the waste or not. I remember from one research we did at Masaryk University, it occurred that people are sorting the waste no matter how much they are paying or how they are paying or what is the system. And the criteria is the distance from your house or your flat to the nearest place where you can throw your sorted waste. And the distance was 200 meters only. If it was more, people were not sorting waste and everything was in just one waste bin. Only 200 meters. We are pretty lazy. I don't know whether only Czechs or everybody, but in our region, what is South Moravian region, it was 200 meters only. And let me finish here. Thank you for your attention, because we don't have a lot of time, and everybody's waiting for coffee, and Zoli is waiting for his chance. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, dear colleagues, I would like to talk about some question of environmental taxes and charges. There are several problems with environmental taxes and charges today. whether environmental issues can be taken into account in the context of the energy crisis, and whether it is possible to make certain energy sources more expensive. At the same time, the climate crisis is not on hold, and countries need to introduce additional strict rules to ensure sustainable management. Environmental taxes and charges play an important role in this regulation. But what are the problems? Okay. First of all, I would like to talk about the condition for environmental taxation. The following issues arise in relation to condition for environmental taxation: the imposition of taxes and charges, tax rates, tax burden, administrative issues, and border adjustment. I need to talk about levying of taxes. When levying taxes and charges, attention should be paid to whether they are directly or indirectly related to the damage caused. If the pollution is significant and localized, the application of taxes is effective, whereas if the pollution is small, the product is consumed in large quantities and dispersed, the application of charges is appropriate. The optimal tax rate has a fundamental impact on the efficiency of taxation. The rate should be set with the environmental objective in mind and should be set at a level that can be tuned to achieve the optimum level through continuous adjustment. It is therefore appropriate to differentiate that rate using a lower rate for long-term objectives and higher rate for short-term objectives. Differentiation according to pollutant content is also important. The problem with the issue of tax burden is that the tax burden can be passed on by the taxpayer. That is, the taxpayer and the person who actually bears the tax burden differ in several cases. The burden of the tax or charge may be borne by the consumer, the owner of capital, the owner of labor, the owner of national resource. Depending on their market position, taxpayers may try to pass on the tax, which may cause social or economic problems. Therefore, when introducing a tax, it is necessary to analyze the effects of the tax to be introduced if it is passed on. The analysis of administrative issues is important in the field of taxation because it is necessary to assess whether the tax collected is proportionate to the cost and administration involved in its collection. Environmental taxes and charges represent a relatively low revenue from fees compared to the total tax and fee revenue and the main tax categories, for example, personal income tax. It is preferable to use tax authorities specialized in the collection of traditional taxes to collect the tax, as setting up a separate authority is not a cost-effective solution. Integrating taxes into the existing tax and fee system also reduce administrative cost. International aspects must also be taken into account. Poorly chosen taxation can affect international competitiveness and efficiency of economic instruments. The problem of taxes on production and taxes on consumption is different in this respect. When production or activity is taxed, only domestic production is affected, but nevertheless, if the tax in neighboring country on the substitute product is lower, competitiveness problems may arise. In the case of consumption, however, not only the domestic product, but also the imported product is taxed. If the product is sustainable, substitutable, the demand for the substitute product may increase. Let's move on to the second area. This is some disadvantages and advantages of environmental taxes. First of all, analyzing the advantage of environmental taxes. First, static incentives, efficient management of a given technology for emission performance. Tax provide an incentive to the polluter, making them interested in using the technology efficiently to reduce pollution. Dynamic incentive tax provide incentive for new technologies and for pollution reduction. Taxes provide continuous incentive to reduce pollution continuously, where appropriate below the level required by the authorities. Tax rebate provide a source of funds for the development of new technologies, generating further cost efficiencies. Regulation of general nature. The taxes are uniform for all polluters, so the regulation cannot take into account the circumstances of individual firms. In many cases, environmental regulators need to consult with polluters on rates and technological requirements. However, this negotiated approach can be ineffective, as polluter may soften the regulators, possible requesting individual exemption. This is not the case with taxes, so environmental efficiency is not reduced by the normative nature of taxes. Some disadvantages of environmental taxes. First, uncertain environmental impact. Environmental taxes have an incentive effect and do not guarantee pollution levels, unlike direct regulation. There are costs where the pollution is borne by the parties' consent, so in cases where it is important to meet the environmental objective of pollution levels precisely, taxes may not be sufficiently effective. Next, pollution avoidance activities. Environmental taxes can also have harmful effects on the environment, which may be more severe than in the absence of full regulation. Taxation of waste can provide incentive to reduce waste, but can also lead to illegal dumping and incineration. In this case, the social cost of subsequent disposal and environmental damage is even greater than the cost and impact of pollution. Next, policy considerations. Environmental taxes are not always politically acceptable. The reduction in pollution as an environmental effect of taxes is politically accepted, but in many cases polluters reject taxation and prefer other instruments instead, which also affects political positions. Next, distributional effects. Environmental taxation applies to transport, the carbon content of fuels or energy in general. Low-income households spend a large part of their expenditure of energy and transport, so increasing environmental taxes increases prices and reduce the income of these households. Higher income households who would otherwise be more willing to spend more for cleaner environment are less affected by a change in the environmental tax burden. To sum up, I believe in environmental taxes and charges.